Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome to my business educational platform. In previous lecture, we have covered the topics from the chapter 6 that were intuition, types of problem and decision making conditions, common decision making errors and biases. In today's lecture, we are going to discuss what is planning, types of plans. So basically, we are going to start from what the chapter 7, that is foundation of plannings. So basically, what is planning? Planning is a primary managerial activity that involves defining the organization goals, establishing an overall strategy for achieving those goals, and then developing plans for organizations work activities. So you plan in order to, if you plan, you may have certain goals, and in order to achieve that goals you must have an strategy available to achieve that goals. Then you will develop plans for organizational work activities. So I hope you understood the concept behind the planning. Then we have the formal planning. So formal planning is basically associated with specific goals covering a specific time period. They are written and shared with organizational members. What are the purposes behind planning? It provides the direction where the organization wants to go. It reduces uncertainty. It minimizes waste and redundancy. It sets the standards for controlling. If the things occur out of the control, then there must be a benchmark available in order to have a strong monitoring system. So that's the purpose of planning. I hope you understood the idea behind the purposes of planning. So what is the relationship between planning and performance? So basically, formal planning is associated with higher profits and returns on assets, whereas you may also plan for the high financial results or higher return on assets or the wealth maximization of shareholders. The quality of planning and implementation affects performance more than the extent of planning. The external environment can reduce the impact of planning on performance. I hope you understood the idea behind the relationship between planning and performance. The formal planning must be used for several years before planning begins to affect the performance. So formal planning must be, it is a proactive measure in order to plan for several years before they affect the performance. So what are the basic elements of planning? Planning, first it must have a goals or desired objectives, what the company wants, desired outcomes for individuals, groups and entire organization. What are the outcomes for individuals and groups? Also it provides the direction and evaluation performance criteria. It provides certain benchmark in order to check the performance of the employees and evaluation performance based upon their certain criteria. So then we have, second we have plans. What are the plans? They are documents that outline how goals are to be accomplished. Firstly, we may say they provide the ladder to the planning, describe how resources are to be allocated and establish activity schedules. Then we have financial goals are related to the expected internal financial performance of the organizations. So what are the strategic goals? They are related to performance of the firm related to factors in its external environments. So what is the external environments? From external environment we have the opportunities and threats, whereas from the internal environment we have strengths and weaknesses. So these comes under the micro environment, and we from macro environment we have the political, economical, social, technological, environmental, and legal factors. So they all are related to performance of the firm and related to its factors that comes from the external environment. So what are the stated goals versus real goals? Stated goals are broadly worded official statements of the organization intended for public consumption that may be relevant to its the real goals, what actually goes on the organization. So basically real goals tells what the what is happening in the organization or what actually goes on the organization, whereas stated goals are intended for public consumption. So what are the basically types of plans? So basically there exist certain types like breadth. Plans can be of strategic in nature. They are taken for certain long period of time, we may say more than 3 years. And we have the operations plans that are used for day-to-day activities, whereas the strategic plans are for long term and operations plan are for short term. Strategic plans provide the direction to the organization. They are directional, and whereas operational plans are specific and to the point. Strategic plans will be for single use purpose, and the operations plan will be for standing purpose. So we will use them again and again. So its breadth, time frame, specificity, and frequency of use. So now we are going to discuss them one by one. What are the strategic plans? They are applied to the entire organization, establish the organization's overall goal, seek to the position the organization in terms of its environment, cover extended periods of time. Then what are the operation plan? Specify the details of how the overall goals are to be achieved, cover a shorter time period. So long-term plans are the plans with time frame extended beyond 3 years, whereas short-term plans plan with time frames for 1 year or less than. Then we have the specific plan that are clearly defined and leave no room for interpretation, whereas directional plans are flexible plans that set out general guidelines and provide focus, yet allow discretion in implementation. Then we have the single-use plan, a one-time plan specifically designed to meet the need of a unique situation, whereas standing plans ongoing are the ongoing plans that provide guidance for activities performed repeatedly. I hope you understood the idea behind the planning. So see you in next video.